Welcome to the Digital Remodeler Podcast. Joining me today is Reina, and we're going to be discussing what role does social media play in your marketing strategy. We're so glad you're with us today.
Hey, Carl. Pleasure to be here. I'm glad we're going to be talking, a few things that are definitely important for business owners to know. And yeah, let's get started.
Fantastic. So, Brian, real quick, just give a little background who you are and what allows you to even speak as an expert on the topic.
Absolutely. So I've been a branding strategist for the past 5 years. I've worked with multiple businesses all over the world, mostly in Europe, in the US, in Canada, and Australia as well. I've worked with different industries, so B2B, B2C. I've worked with local businesses as well as online e-commerce businesses. So I really have seen the way that a strategy can affect a business, or it can really help them bring in success each month. So it's something that I'm really passionate about. It's something that I'm really interested in learning every time with how social media and social media marketing in general is just changing every year. So that's basically my expertise.
Okay, fantastic. So let's talk about social media. Why is social media so indispensable in the modern mix of marketing strategies? Why do you need it?
So if you think about social media, you really have to think about where people are spending most of their time now, where young adults are spending most of their time, but not just young adults, but also people in their 50s, 60s. I mean, to be honest with you, my grandmother is 82 years old and she has a Facebook, she has WhatsApp, she uses Messenger. I mean, pretty much everyone and anyone is basically online now. And so social media is just so crucial for business to really expand its reach, for people to know that you exist. So it's something that's going to keep increasing, something that's going to become more competitive over the years, something that's really going to challenge business owners and brands to develop more authentic and more original content. But I would say social media is something that you can't kind of push away, thinking that you only need a website, or you only need paid ads, or SEO campaigns, or email marketing, logos, or radio ads. It's something that is here now, and it's the new, the new normal, basically.
Okay, great. So what are some of the top advantages that a business is going to gain from using social media as part of their marketing strategy?
So businesses can really connect with their audience. If you think about how social media works and why people use it, social media is used to connect with your family, to connect with your friends, and you can really utilize social media channels to connect with your audience, to message them, to speak to them live, to get their feedback, to understand them in a much deeper level. This is something that is a little bit more difficult to do on other platforms, or on, let's say, a Yelp profile. It's the only way that you can really kind of start a conversation there, or really build a connection with your brand, is mostly through the reviews that you would see on Yelp. It's maybe you can reply to them on there, but it's not really a lot of options that you have on other platforms opposed to social media channels.
Okay. And then as you're, talking through this topic, are there any just examples that stand out of um, social media driven marketing campaigns that you've seen done that are done really well, that really do a great job of connecting the audience to the business?
For For the most part, you do see a few. You see, really, it depends on it. It's all of this is driven by many, many factors. Um, you have businesses and companies that are really good at building a solid strategy. And when you really see that they are really doing a good job is most of them are using video content. So the video content is a really strong uh, method to connect. And big reason for that is because the way that we intake or that we take in content or that we consume content nowadays is all through video most of the time. Because we've realized that we can watch a 10-minute video on YouTube, but even now you can watch a 15-second video on TikTok and you can get almost the same amount of value from watching that 10-minute video, right? So the strong brands, the ones that really are standing out in the market, are the ones that are utilizing video content. But not only that, they have a strong customer service experience for the user, and they really provide a positive experience for the user and basically every platform they're on. So that's something that you also need to take into consideration. Not only is your website and your social media content the main platforms that you want to have a strong presence or a positive experience for users, but also just in your ads alone, in your emails that you send out. All of this it needs to be consistent, but also showing a really positive experience for your users. Yeah.
Good. So you mentioned a few platforms. So I've got Twitter and TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and YouTube. So how does a business choose the right social media platforms for their objectives?
You need to think about a few things when choosing the right platforms. You need to think about, first of all, where your audience hangs out. So if you are a dentist and you are trying to promote Invisalign or trying to promote brackets for people that are, in the ages from, I don't know, young adults to, let's say, late 20s, right? Where are these users hanging out? Most of them would probably be hanging out nowadays on Instagram, especially because Instagram is a very visual platform. This also gives you an advantage because you're able to show before and afters. You're able to really give them a mental image of who you guys are, what you do, how you can help them by utilizing Instagram. But also you want to be thinking about how you can showcase your services, not just through Instagram, but maybe through video content. So do you want to be on TikTok? Do you want to be on YouTube? Most people would probably watch a video of a before and after teeth whitening on TikTok or maybe even YouTube, explaining how you do that, how the process is done, because they want to get that process done, right? So that's usually how you choose what platforms to be on. But also it depends on your industry. Are you a very visual type of industry? Are you a home remodeling company that can show before and after projects, how the kitchen looked before and then how it looked after, pristine, well done, elegant? So it really depends on the industry. But I would say you have to take in these factors before you can, when choosing the platforms.
Okay. So what are some of the common mistakes that companies need to avoid in their social media marketing strategy?
Some of the common mistakes or really roadblocks that they would, you don't want to face is a lot of companies know that they need to post content on social media, but they don't know what they need to post, and they just need to, they think that they need content every day. Doesn't matter what it is, they just need content. But really, what you're doing is you're you're kind of showing a more unprofessional side of your business when doing this. So this can really affect you. And also just you're not providing that positive experience to the user when they go and check out the content. If it's content that really isn't as valuable, or it's something that's repetitive, everybody's posting this type of content, well, that doesn't really make you stand out. And that's one of the biggest pitfalls that I see when brands are trying to post content on social media. The second one would probably be posting too much content and then burning out because you don't know what else to post. And that just comes back and bites you, right? So this comes back to let's say resources. And if you have low resources, because creating content is it can take time, it can take higher budget, it can take more personnel. So you really need to think about all of these things before you build out your strategy. And even when you build out your strategy, you need to understand, well, can I actually implement this into my social media channels? So if you can't, that's something that tells you, well, I need more personnel, I need a higher budget, I need to hire maybe a photographer. So these are the two things that I would say are the biggest mistakes that people are um, just when trying to create some content for social media.
Okay, great. So what things should a business be measuring to determine the effectiveness of their social media campaigns?
You can probably get overwhelmed if you go into every platform and you check your analytics. But some of the big things that you want to be looking at, and just to make it easier for you, you want to be, understanding how much reach you have. So you want to be looking at your reach. And you want to be looking at where that reach is coming from. So where is your audience coming from? Sometimes you have audience that is from overseas. A lot of times you have an audience that is from India, just because almost every business in the world has an audience that's from India. And it's just a fact. It's just, people in that country just love consuming content, and they love following content creators and businesses, and it's just the way that it works over there. But you want to know where they're coming from. You want to know their age range. You want to know what is the content that they like the most. So what is the post that you've gotten the most engagement on? So that okay, this is a piece of content that has worked for me in the past. I know what they like. I know what my audience likes. And I know what I need to keep creating. So modeling that type of content and keeping it consistent. So an important tip that you can kind of take away from this is building a more of a, so you have two different types of content. You have viral content, and you have more nurturing content, right? Now you need both. So in your business, you need viral content to attract new users to your pages. So that's what sparks their attention. That's what really triggers them into checking out your page and checking out your business. But then you also need nurturing content, right? So all of these things you need to track. Well, how is my viral content really performing? How is my nurturing content performing as well? Am I getting a lot of likes on here? Am I getting a lot of shares? And one of the big things to track is shares, just because the more that people share your content, the more the algorithm distributes your piece of content with more users. So shares is a big thing that you need to keep track of as well.
Okay, great. So, looking at all the other components of marketing, SEO, paid advertising, search advertising, um, how can social media be best integrated with those other modalities as well?
I love that question. So yeah, this is something that Carl, you and you like to mention this in the ecosystem, right? How everything works together, and it basically complements the other uh, channel or the other strategy or method that we use. So to give you an example, Adding the right keywords on your social media channels. Now, if that is on your description, in your profile biography, on your content captions, descriptions like that on your social media, it can really play a huge role to make your SEO campaigns work better. Just because if you have SEO friendly social media profiles, well, they're also going to be showing up on your social media, on your Google searches, which will make your SEO campaign work better. So that is one way to do it. Another way would be sharing blog posts or sharing website content on your social media to increase visibility and to drive traffic from your website or to your website. And then this can also, in some cases, it can generate backlinks. So this is something that complements your SEO campaigns. And then for paid ads, I would say boosting posts that have done really well. So to reach a bigger audience, you can kind of complement this with a paid ad campaign, and also retargeting. So if somebody engages with your social media campaign or your social media posts, you can retarget them using a Facebook ad campaign to encourage them to convert. So there's different ways, but those would be some of the ways to do that.
Okay. And then are there any emerging trends or technologies in social media marketing that every business owner needs to be mindful of right now?
The biggest trends, and this is obviously, discussing the elephant in the room, AI. AI right now is kind of taking over. People are actually afraid that it's going to take over some of their jobs, just because it is something that is something that's really taken over the way that we create content, for example. So we can use a tool like ChatGPT to create content or to create captions or to create a paid ad copy. So these are some of the emerging technologies that I would say we have to be aware of, that that business owners need to be aware of, just because we can use this to our advantages. It doesn't have to be complicated when creating content for social media. You can utilize AI technologies like these to create, tons of pieces of content that can really help you just create a consistent calendar each week, so that your consumers are always engaging and are always awaiting and expecting content from you that can really build a strong brand loyalty.
Okay. Now you brought up something, let's delve into a little off topic, but when it comes to AI, can a business become too reliant upon AI for the content creation? Are there some dangers there that a business needs to be thinking through?
I would say yes. You definitely need to be careful, because AI is not really the main solution to your content creation strategies or your effort when creating content for social media, or just utilizing it for anything that is part of your social media, like building a description or any type of graphic design. You really want to make sure that you understand the industry and you understand the consumer before you go in and deep dive into an AI system that is able to generate multiple pieces of content for you, or generate multiple blogs that you can utilize on your social media. So it's something that you just have to be careful with. It's something that you don't need to take for granted, and you can't just say, well, I'm going to use AI, so I don't need to hire a virtual assistant or another team member for my team just because AI is doing all the work. But a lot of times we don't even know if AI, if these tools are maybe plagiarizing other websites or other industries. So you do have to be careful with this. I would say, for the most part, do your research, try to do everything as much as possible in a more organic way, not just having an AI, machine kind of build everything for you, because it can really take you down a path where if something happens to the AI machine, you're stuck. You don't know what to do after. So that could be another reason for not, just putting all of your eggs on the AI machine.
Good. So just kind of wrap up and wind down, what are the practical tips and resources you would suggest for businesses that want to optimize their social media marketing strategies?
Kind of, the same ones that mostly people talk about. I would say just having clear goals. Understanding why you're also utilizing social media, understanding what you want to get out of social media. Is it followers? Is it more sales? Is it you're trying to bring traffic to your website? So understanding really the goal in mind, knowing your audience before you even deep dive into a social media channel, but also knowing the channel itself, knowing the platform. How does it work? What are the benefits that this platform has over other platforms that maybe for example, like TikTok? What does TikTok have over LinkedIn? Now it's two different types of channels. It's one is more of video content. It's basically all video content on one channel. The other one is more for building a professional business profile where you can share blogs, you can share things about your website. You can also create infographics that are also very valuable for your consumers. So knowing all of that, the other thing would probably be to plan out your content calendar. Make sure that you have an actual content calendar where you understand the educational type of content that you have, the interactive type of content that you will be posting as well. Having a really planned content calendar can, really move the needle. And this is something that, as I said before, a lot of businesses know that they need content, but they just don't know what to post. And they just kind of post content randomly. And then it just doesn't get them anywhere, right? And then the last thing would probably be having high quality content. So video and image. If you can, spend a little extra on hiring a photographer to come in and take some photos or maybe take some videos of you, sharing your story, because that's usually what social media is for as well. Sharing your story, sharing your background story of how you got started, and just connecting with that audience in a much deeper level. So if you can also provide higher quality content for that specific user, that would be much better.
Excellent. Well, Brian, thank you for joining us today. And Brian will be a featured contributor on the podcast in future episodes. So be sure and tune in each week to hear what else we have for you. Thanks again, Brian.
Thank you, Carl. Pleasure having you.